Between the two of us, we'll show you a little bit about our friends, these alligators. We brought them all the way up from Florida with us. Our show gets hyped as alligator wrestling. It always has been, always will be. No matter what you do with an alligator, they want to call it gator wrestling. But in reality, alligators, they don't know much about wrestling. You give them a chance, they usually just turn tail and take off and they go the other way. That's common with them, whether they're in captivity or out there in the wild. We got our show started down in Florida over 30 years ago. Little public awareness programs started taking the gators, little ones, and other types of Florida wildlife around to our schools and our local events. We try to clear up some of the myths that people had, as well as some concerns that were developing. And over the years, they just grew into little shows, those little awareness programs, much like this one that you're going to see. So we hope you enjoy it. And if you're an animal lover, as we are, you'll be happy to know that no harm will come to the alligator. My nephew, I'm not so sure. With the show, we've done a lot of traveling. Folks, we've been all over the place with alligators. As you can imagine, get a whole bunch of questions about them. It seems the most asked question, the biggest concern that folks have about alligators, why do they attack? That's a good question, especially nowadays. You go down to Florida, we've had over a dozen attacks there in the past few years. Unfortunately, some of those attacks were fatal. There are about 3 reasons that could cause them to attack. I'd like to explain the reasons to you, and then I'm going to send my nephew into the water. Oh, he's excited, trust me. That's fresh meat. Golly. Yeah, that's all right. First off, females. Now, as a parent, like most parents, female gator is a very protective mother. She watches over her nest of eggs and her babies, and she may attack anything or anyone that gets too close. So say if you take a trip down south, especially you kids, you see some baby alligators laying around somewhere, you make sure you leave them alone. Don't try to play with one. They may look cute, but there's no telling where that mother's at. And if she's close by, she'll be very quick to defend them. The male alligators, the big ones, we call territorial bull alligators. A big male will claim an area much like this is his, and he'll guard it. He'll fight another male gator that comes into his territory. When they're big enough, they liable to guard the territory against anything that wanders into it. That includes people. You want to swim in rivers and lakes down south where there's alligators, you better make sure there ain't no big ones out there first. Most of the fatal attacks that occur down south, and a recent one not too long back in South Carolina, come from big bull, big territorial gators like that, where people not knowing just have wandered into their territory for a swim or something, or have gotten too close to the edge. Sometimes just walking the dogs will bring those gators closer. So you got to be careful with those, especially nowadays where there's so many. The main reason that gators do attack, though, folks, this is the biggest problem that we have in the southern states, especially Florida, where we have so many tourists, is that when you move down there or you plan on moving down there, keep in mind gators are everywhere. They occupy every fresh body of water in the state of Florida. Rivers, lakes, ponds, streams, golf courses. You golfers are like to golf. My buddy went the other day. Down there, they're in the water holes. You hit your ball too close to that little water hole, the gator could come out and grab it and run back in the water thinking it's food. They're out there. Big ones. Probably see them on YouTube a lot, the internet. Have it on TV often. You know, but the problem, it's not that there's so many. You go down there and buy some property along a river lake, you can wake up, get out in your own backyard and see an alligator. That's no biggie. Alligators are shy creatures. When they see us, they usually shy away. They go away. You know what the problem is? People feeding them. They go down there and they throw food at them. Some of even the people living there, knowing better, feed the alligators. All this does is teach them to come back, stick around, no longer to be afraid. Losing their natural fear of people, creating much more dangerous ones. And it's illegal to do it. You get caught feeding a wild alligator, be ready to pay a heavy fine. In fact, they can place a person in jail in Florida for that. 2 years ago, a family from Nebraska lost a 2-year-old son. from gators that were being fed. The boy wasn't swimming, just walked to the edge, the gator come up, grabbed him, and went away. They wouldn't do that if it wasn't for being fed. They get used to seeing people, and when you feed them, only teaches them to come up. They don't need our food. So if you go down there, don't feed them. Don't walk your dogs too close to the water's edges. Be careful, be vigilant. But other than that, they're shy creatures. Leave them alone, they leave us alone. But now I come to my favorite part. Get in here. His job will be to catch one of them for us, this one here, I guess. That way we can point out some things to you about him. So for what he's going to do, let's put your hands together. Let's give him a big round of applause. You like that, Mike? We got a nice crowd, huh? A lot of people. We like to get his applause up front in case you don't make it. We got a couple of gators that we brought with us. You know, they're not very big, not yet, because these are male gators. Male gators can get over 14 feet. They can weigh over 1,000 pounds. They get big and heavy. For the educational purpose, I think he'll agree that would work out just fine. The little stick he carries is not a weapon. It's a tool that we use. It helps us guide the gators and test them out if we need to find out how fast they are. See, being cold-blooded, and that's why they like it down south. When they get cold, their body's metabolism, the blood in their body will slow down. It'll make them slow and sluggish. If you ever saw a real cold alligator try to move, it looks like they move in slow motion. Very, very slow. However, when it's hot, it's the opposite. Their blood speeds up, and they become faster and quicker, and more agile. Well, more dangerous to work with. So the cold, it can help you find out how much you warmed up today. It's been hot, too. Get over there and find out. You know, I stated an alligator is a shy creature. You know, that they leave us alone if you leave them alone. You go down south and see an alligator and think you're going to play with it, think again, folks. If you try to get close to one, you'll be placing yourself in a great deal of danger. As they're very quick to defend themselves, you'll see here in a moment. So Mike, you got to get him out. He ain't coming out on his own. He might start hissing when you get up there. You know, you ever hear an alligator start to hiss? You ever hear one hiss? Get close enough. It's a warning. The hissing sound is one of the few sounds that a gator can make. It's him telling you to stay back. You're getting too close, and he don't like it. So what he's doing, he's trying to scare you away by hissing. Usually it works. Get back over there, man. People ask us all the time, hey, if I get a gator in my yard, what do I do? Well, I can't tell you what to do other than call the Wildlife Commission, but here's what we do. We just sneak up behind them, right? You gotta be sneaky. Mike, you're not being sneaky. You get close enough, be careful now. You gotta be careful. Reach down and get him by the end of the tail. When you get the tail, then drag him to the neighbors. Drag him over to the neighbor's yard and drop him off there. Don't let him back in there. He wants to get in there too, because that's his place to hide, and it's been hot today. Now I'm only joking. Get him again by the I'm joking about grabbing a gator by the tail. You don't know what you're doing. He can turn around. He can bite his tail. So if you're holding it like that, he will bite your hand. He'll bite you as high up as your elbow. That quick turn is how they catch their prey. You don't even want to get close. Get close. They make these quick moves to the side. That's how they catch their food, right? They don't run after it. No, they're sneaky little things. They just either sneak up to you, and when they get close, they make those quick moves like you're seeing them do. But if you leave them alone, then they kind of leave you alone. They don't come running after you. They're not as fast as you think on land, either running. Even though those legs move quick, they're short. They've been misled on how fast they really go. We had a chance to find out one day. Remember? We caught the alligator running full speed across the land. He was doing 13 miles an hour. My nephew was doing 14. It was a close race. But that's about the speed of a gator when they run. It's considered a gallop anyway. They're quick jumping into the water. They slide, they push with their tail, and belly slide down in the water. Looks like they're moving real fast with their legs kicking. Once they hit the water, well, we can't outswim them, folks. They've been clocked over speeds of 25 miles an hour. If they're in the deeper water, and you are too, if they want to catch up to you, they will. That big, powerful tail propels him through it. Look what he's doing. He's trying to be sneaky. He sees you. He's just hiding. See? You know, people heard, yeah, you better wash that off. You get Gatorades. You may have heard the gator's tail is like a weapon, and they'll try to hurt you with it, like swing it and maybe hit you in the leg and try to break your leg. They're not trying to break your leg. They don't care about that. When they swing that tail, they turn their jaw. They try to knock you up into its mouth. That way he can bite you. That jaw is its weapon. You see how he just keeps it open? That's their defense. They open their mouth wide, and they wait with that mouth open because their strength is closing it, and they know it. And it reacts on the slightest touch. But you know what? You can put something in there. You're staying over here. Yeah. Show them this side. Get him away from the corner. You need some help? You do? Man? Be careful now. Get him in the middle. Try to just get in front of him. Try to make him stay still. We'll show him that jaw here how it works. Whoa, watch it there. Not too close. Notice this now. With the mouth open, you can put something in there. All right, let the stick. Yeah, put the stick. Good. He didn't bite it. The reason? Well, he didn't see it. His eyeballs are on top of his head. He can't see in his mouth. He didn't know the stick was there. Show him, Mike, put your head in there. No, because the slightest touch, even a drop of water, those jaws will react with over 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. If he gets a hold of something, it ain't going to get away, so don't get bit. Pull him away from that fence. Watch it. Watch it. Take your time. Now, down in the Everglades, you know, down in the southern part of Florida, is the Everglades. You go down there and you can see shows just like this being put on by some of the reservations there, the Seminole Indians. That's where we started. We learned techniques from them, trying to handling the gator. And we use these techniques out here. Because they go out in the swamp all the time catching gators. Watch it. One way he's grabbing them underneath the jaw. Right? There's loose skin down there in that jaw, and you grab a hold of it, he'll start to shake, and then he'll roll trying to get away. And when he does that, you hop on him. Never really seen it. Well, the only other way they do it is you have to get on their back one way or the other. So sneak up behind them, don't get bit, and try to get control of them. Watch it. Get them in the middle if you need to. Watch it. Watch it. Take your time, man. Take your time. Hop on them. Watch it. It's really lunging, so go. He's got to get the jaw. Hold him. Get his mouth shut. Get his jaw. And he's got him, folks. Put your hands against for him. Man, that wore me out. You got him? Don't let him go either. Last time he got away after you did that, he ran and went over the fence with him. You know, you go to Florida and you pick one of these nice brand new cars from the Outlander there, from the Bronco Motor. I just buy one of those, drive to Florida. They got plenty of room. You see an alligator crossing the road, you want to take him home, now you know what to do. Yeah, put your hands together one more time, right? Of course, sitting on the back like this, he's in a lot safer spot. The gator can't turn around and bite him up there. That's what we tell him. Hold his mouth shut. Yeah. Got him? Don't let go. I'm going to point out some things to you. At the end of the snout are two openings. If you can see them. That's where the hissing was coming from. It's their nostrils. It's air being forced out, and that's where they get their air. So underneath the water, they're holding their breath. They'll drown like you and I. The difference? They can hold their breath over an hour, even longer. Sooner or later, they got to come up. Their eyes are on top for a reason. They can sneak up to their prey. You won't see them coming. Keep that big old body beneath the water, just a little eyeball sticking up. Behind the eye, a very small brain. The alligator has one just like it. They have ears too, believe it or not, but the ears covered up by a little flap. You lift the flap, you can look down inside. Their hearing, their eyesight is excellent. They use them both, mainly at night when they hunt. They'll cruise around and watch and listen for anything getting too close to water's edges. All right, Mike, from here, he'll try to open his jaw, show you the inside, what it looks like. Now, the only way to do this is if the gator allows him to, or does it for you. With all that strength closing, if he didn't want to open up, it would be hard to pry it open. They don't mind opening. It gives them a chance to bite back down, so keep your fingers out. Yeah, keep your fingers out. Look way in the back of his throat. There's a little flap of skin way in the back, and it covers up his throat. It allows the alligator to bite beneath the water without drowning. As that closes the throat, no water's going to pass through. Y'all see it? Point to it, Mike. His teeth, 80 of them in there. There's 40 on top, 40 of them on the bottom. They're sharp and pointy. If they break one, no problem. A new one will replace it. Sharks and alligators, they both replace their teeth. Sharks has rows, alligators are hollow with other ones inside. If one breaks, the other one grows right in its place. They can go through 1,000 in a lifetime. Being sharp and pointy though, they don't chew up their food, they just grab it. If it's too large to swallow, whatever they have, they'll rip it apart by rolling around or shaking it back and forth. They'll rip and tear it till it's small enough. Keep your fingers on it. All right, good job. Put your hands together. Yeah. Keep it this finger. Well, you know, folks, we have a lot of fun doing the show. And we've been doing a lot of shows over the years. And, you know, every time he's out there, he's taking a chance. The show you're watching is a very dangerous show, okay? Keep that in mind, especially you kids. Alligators are very dangerous, all right? They're not to be played with. If you go down south somewhere and you see one, make sure you stay a safe distance. Even big kids, don't try to do anything you see my nephew do. Keep in mind, he is a professional. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's been around alligators since he hatched. He knows what he's doing. Kids, a gator at this size can rip your arm or leg completely off with no problem. You don't want to ever, even his hand or arm. You know, if he takes these chances, so hopefully we can prevent that from happening as it's been happening more and more. We shouldn't have to worry about a family losing their boy that's visiting our state because other people were feeding alligators. Or ladies that are walking their dogs just too close to the edge and the gators are mistaking that as food. And this is all because of people feeding them. You do want to be vigilant and not swim with those big gators. That's always a good thing to think about if you do go down there. There's plenty of places to go. But keep in mind, alligators, they're everywhere down there. So we take these chances that he does to hopefully bring out awareness on that. And you take away more than just someone out here with the alligator. He doesn't get much credit for it, but I think he deserves it, folks. So if you would, put your hands together. And we got something else for you, especially for the kids there, but we'll let this gator go in a moment. But first, before he does that, he's going to try something for you. Now, this is something the Seminole Indians come up with in the Everglades of Florida over 150 years ago. As they go out in the swamps and catch their gator, they would bring them back to their camps. Often doing this, keeping the gator alive. So what they would do is tie their mouth shut, which would make the gator much safer to carry. And it's easy with your partner. One hold the gator like this, sit on him, and hold his jaw, and your partner can come out there with a rope or something, tie it mouth shut. I'm not helping. There were times they go alone, like him. And they were out there in the swamp. They were faced with a problem at first. How are you going to hold the mouth shut and let go to tie a rope? We're not sure which one figured it out, but they call this the bulldog. He's going to try it for you if you got a camera. He doesn't need to tie it. He'll just show you for your photos here. Sit on the back of the gator. Once they had him like that, the only thing they could figure to do was taking the jaw, holding it shut, and then just place it between your chin and chest. With that pressure, then try to let go. So you take your time, Mike. Here's your pictures, folks. Hold it, Mike. Smile, man. Well, quickly with a rope, you would then wrap it around the jaw. Secure it shut. Have a safe gator. Good job, man. All right, put your hands together one more time. I used to have 2 nephews. Don't go anywhere. I got some here. This one's mine. That was Gatorade. This is Mr. Wiggles. We've had him for about 2 years now. He was about 6 inches long. Gators are quite small. They come from an egg, about the size of a goose egg. But they don't stay little for long, man. They grow about a foot a year for about 6 years, so they get big quick. The gator around 6 feet starts to mature. His growth rate slows down, but he doesn't stop growing. Alligators never stop growing. The longer they get to live, the bigger they get. Mr. Wiggles, being a male, one day could be over 14 feet. He's kind of cute. If you never felt one before, their backs, where he's sitting there, those ridges running up and down them, they're called scutes. Those are made up of calcium, just like their bone. So these are hard little individual pieces of bone. They call them scutes. It helps the gator absorb heat when they lay along the banks, as well protects them when they're fighting with each other. Underneath is much different, folks. If you never felt one before, they're smooth and soft, pliable. Some of the best leathers known to man in the entire world right there. And they were hunted almost near extinction for that leathery hide. They were down just to a few thousand alligators remaining in the southern state. That's not many at all. But nowadays, they're everywhere with good laws, regulations, and they raise them on farms like cows and chickens for that leathery hide. All right, he's gonna go, folks, hop off this gator, set him free. Kids, you stay back, put your hands together for him one more time and work hard. And let him go back in there. That's what he wants, so watch it. You let him go in there. He'd rather come out later at night, which of course we can't have that either. Climb the fence and be in your mountains. Good job, Mike. That made it look easy. We'll hold Mr. Wiggles. Or in fact, we'll get out my favorite. I'll hold Mr. Wiggles. He likes to wade, too. That's Mandy. Mandy, yeah, you know, she's kind of cool. She's much older than she looks, you know. She was a rescued gator. You ever heard of putting a fish in a small aquarium, they stay small? Well, so do reptiles. Mandy was inside an aquarium for several years. She was about the size of Mr. Wiggles. She was probably about 5 or 6 years old though. She should have been a lot bigger. It causes them to grow slow when you do that, and it stunts their growth when they should have been growing long. The first 6 years, she grew real slow. It doesn't hurt her to be small. She just can't be with the big ones. But it's going to take quite a long time for her to reach those sizes. I've had her another 12 years since then, and this is as big as she's gotten. She'll continue growing, but until then, she stays with the little ones. They think she's mom. They follow her around, even the tiny ones. For some reason, she has that mother's instinct. They know she somehow gives out that instinct, but she's kind of cool having her so long. We carry her around with her so much. She doesn't really try to bite. She's unique, other than the big ones there that are always trying to bite. Mandy knows we're not food. She knows we're not going to hurt her. And we have a little band. We're going to put on the little alligator's mouth here. So if you never had a chance to touch your pet one, we'll stick around. In fact, Mandy's a little big, but we still use her. If you like a photo holding an alligator, you can come inside and get your picture. We didn't bring out our sign again. We have a... Well, at least she'll be lighter to hold. That's where Gatorade comes from. What do you kids? Anyway, yeah, you can hold her. She's fun. But you can come inside. We'll snap too. Hopefully it's working. But bring your cameras or your cell phones and snap some pictures. We charge if you like a photo.
You want to hold her, honey?
Alligators, $10, but it makes great souvenirs, and you can put them on the internet, and Facebook, whatever. Kids, check with your parents if you like a photo. They are $10, but parents, a whole family, all your kids, they can all get in the picture. If you like to get in the picture, you can do that. We'll snap one on your phone for you as well. But we'll print one up here with our camera. Kids again, check first. If you have any questions, you'd like to stick around, we'll be happy to answer them. And the kids that may want to feel them or pet them a little later on, we'll stick around for that. So, on behalf of Bronco Motors, thank you for coming out, folks. We certainly hope you enjoy it. And thank our friends there at Bronco Motors for having us and providing all that. Thank you, guys. All right.